Oh, this should be interesting. Because the other day, they said that Daddy is a Republican. This should be pretty interesting.
I want to ask you about this. When you talk about the confusion, and you've been open, obviously, about your support for the president, when you look at the videos of what happened, and I'm sure they're very hard for you, Timmy, to watch if you've even been able to. But the Deputy Attorney General says that the Justice Department doesn't believe that there's evidence to back a criminal investigation, right? And nothing about charges or anything that, just an investigation into what happened in terms of the ICE agents' actions. But they
Right, dude, because they were saying he feared for his life and everything. So, like I said, there's a couple of different channels I watched, and it's just like it's kind of a. It seems to be from the few that I've seen, just cut and dry at this point. About what happened. Now personally, I do not believe she was trying to kill him. I don't even think she was trying to hit him, but she did hit him in trying to flee. She shouldn't have been obstructing, and she shouldn't even tried to flee. She shouldn't even been there that day. You get what I'm saying? Now people are telling me that her children were taken away from her. Two of her children were taken away from her for certain really, really bad reasons. Now, usually when you hear about that, when you hear about children being taken away from a mother, you're like, what in the F did she do for that to happen? That one mayor, he basically said he walked away with a skipping step. Apparently, he was injured. He has internal bleeding in the hip area from being hit. That's why I told that story to you the other day about me being in that car accident where I actually saw the hit coming. I was sitting in the back seat. Somebody fishtailed. I was sitting in the back, and I was just like, man, we going to hit. And I was just like expecting to feel like a boom, but I feel the boom, and then all of a sudden my entire body goes numb, and my eyes are rolling up in my head, and I can't function. My head, it would happen so fast, even though it seemed like we were going with so slow kind of fishtailing the way it happened. But I guess that centrifugal force, boom. And that made me think. I was like, man, like something that looks like a small hit on camera sometimes is really, really bad. A lot of y'all watch wrestling like I do. If you look at how Shawn Michaels injured his back, it just looks like he clipped. He went over the ropes and his back clipped that coffin. It doesn't even look that bad. Now, when you put yourself in the situation and you think about it, it's like, yeah, you know what? It could be really bad, but it doesn't look real bad. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just don't know. But yeah, I think I've said my points. I think I have. If not, I'll run back to it and tell you what. But she definitely wasn't thinking right that day, nor her spouse or her girlfriend, whoever she was. Neither of them was thinking correctly. Okay.
they were, according to the prosecutors resigning today, pressuring them to investigate Renee's actions and Becca, her wife's actions. How do you feel about all that?
Well, I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, it's a hard situation all the way around. It's hard for for everybody involved. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage where he was actually, he was actually being ran. I mean, I seen the bump of the car hitting his legs,
Mm-hmm.
and so in a in a flash like that, it's hard to say how you would react. From my understanding, that he had been through that before, maybe dragged or
Yeah.
something, and so. Like I said, it's just a hard situation for everybody. Becca, it's she's a great person as well. I mean, I don't have any many enemies. I love everybody, and that's what the Bible tells us: love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But I think there's some bad choices, and the word says, "For the wrath of God will come upon the children of disobedience." And it's I don't blame Ice, I don't blame Rebecca, I don't blame Renee. I just wish that if we're walking the Spirit of God, I don't think she would have been there.
I want to ask you about this. You talk about the confusion, and you've been open, obviously.
And that might have said a few things. That might have tackled a few issues he's probably had with his daughter. But yeah, when you listen, like I said, I always try to stay out of trouble. I always try. Stay out of trouble, just like RoboCop said. Stay out of trouble. Cool, cool. I don't want to deal with OCP. You know what I'm saying? I don't need that. I don't need to get none of the stuff that can happen from disobeying the law. Understand what I'm saying? I don't seek to disrupt and cause problems to keep law enforcement from doing their job. You got to have either a whole lot of issues to where you just don't, you just don't critically think well, or I don't know what else it is to want to get in the way of the law. But he is right. I don't think I disagree with anything that the man said, because if she had been what they call God-fearing, law-abiding, she wouldn't have wanted to do that. You could have done it in a different way. You done it in a peaceful protest. You do it through your voting. You do it through writing, certain lawmakers, and, trying to get in touch with certain officials the right way and stuff like that. That's how you do it. It ain't stuff like that, because as you can see, it's extremely, extremely dangerous. And some people go to jail, some people get hurt, and some people get worse, like happened to her. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all think. If you enjoyed my thoughts on this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.